Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. It has been a while since I've done a bit of a sit down video for you guys, but I've honestly just been struggling to get the time to do these. But at the weekend, I did a huge unhaul. So I'm here today to show you what I'm unhauling. There is a good number of books. I'm actually not even sure how many there are yet. But yeah, I thought I would take you along for the ride. A lot of people will ask what I do with my books. So basically, any good quality paperbacks, hardbacks, they all go on Vinted. Anything that's a bit more like used, I'll just take to my local charity shop, or I'll see if I can sell it on Ziffit. But yeah, for the most part, I sell it on Vinted, so I'll link that below in case you're interested in any of these. Let's jump straight into it. So I've got them in like a huge pile here, and I'm hoping I can kind of move them over to here as I go through. So the first one is If You Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan. I think this is YA. I picked this up in Watersons a while ago, and I've just came to the conclusion that I don't really like YA. So this is being on hold. Book 2 is The Night Circus. So I have recently read Phantasma, and last year I read Caraval, and honestly, like both of them, I could have taken or left it. Like, yeah, so that's why this is in my unhaul pile, because I felt like it was sort of similar vibes, like circusy game, that sort of thing. So that's why we're doing that one. The next one is Malice by John Gwynne. So I started this as part of Becca and the Books Catch Up Book Club, and I think I got like 60 pages into it, and honestly, I gave up. I think I've agreed or came to the conclusion that high epic fantasy isn't for me, or maybe it's just this book. Maybe I should give something else a try. If you are an epic high fantasy reader, what do you really like? Yeah, is it just the book or is it just not my thing? So that's being on hold. The next one is The Sisters of the Winterwood by Rena Rosner. Again, I've had this forever. I can't remember the last. I think I actually put this up maybe like 5 or 6 years ago. Picked it up in the airport, and I've never read it. So what on hauling? I should probably put a side note that I was incredibly ruthless with this unhaul, and I'm slightly concerned that going back through these, I'm going to be like, oh, maybe I would read that, maybe I would read that, but literally, I had so many books on the floor and just in stacks. And I'd not got a huge house. There needed to be space created. So that's why a lot of these have been put in here. If I've had them for a long time or I've went and reread the back and I've not really fancied it, I just needed to be ruthless. The next one is Black Leopard Red Wolf by Marlon James. I have seen a few things about this. I think Becca on the Books actually read this and she didn't like it. I just don't, I'm not sure. It's about a lost child or a dead child, and that's not really my vibe, so we're unhauling this. The next one is a duology. Well, it's actually a trilogy, but I've never ever owned the third book. So the ones I'm selling are Discovery of Witches and Shadow of Night by Deborah Harkness. So I read Discovery of Witches and Shadow of Night. In fact, I've only read half of this one. I couldn't tell you how long ago, years ago. And yeah, I did like Discovery of Witches. I binged it and I enjoyed it. But when I started book two, I was okay. So this is where my microphone ran out and the audio cuts out for a few books. So I just thought I would jump on and do a voiceover instead of refilming the whole thing. The next book is The American Roommate Experiment. I'm getting rid of this one because I feel like it gives Ali Hazelwood vibes, and she's my gal, and I just won't change my opinion on that. So I also haven't read The Spanish Love Deception, so I just thought
yeah, let's just unhaul this. I have so many romances to read and I just don't gravitate to this one, so that's why we're unhauling this. The next one is The Hating Game. I stupidly watched the movie first, and obviously, if you watch the movie first, you kind of spoil things, so yeah, my bad, but I love the movie, and yeah, I do wish I had read the book before, but I'm not going to pick it up. I know I won't, so we're going to get rid of that. Next one is Circe. I know there's two different pronunciations. I read this years ago. I read this during COVID, and I have zero connection to it, so there's no point in keeping it. The next one again is In the Nightwood. It's a small novella, and I bought this and read this again during COVID, and it was mostly for a readathon that I was taking part of, so we're unhauling this. The next one is Lady Joker Volume 1, and honestly I have no idea why I picked this up. I don't even know why I bought it. Yeah, just don't fancy it. So that's that. Next one is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. So I read Addie LaRue and I absolutely adored it, and I think this is why I originally picked this up, but I have heard really mixed reviews about her other series, and I'm pretty sure this is YA. So yeah, as I've mentioned previously, I've totally went off YA. So yeah, that's where we're getting rid of this. Swiftly on to the next one. It's a duology, and it is Legendborn and Bookmarked, and yeah, again YA, and I read so many series. I've got so many unfinished series that the last thing I needed was to start a new one. So we're going to get rid of that. And yeah, again YA, and I read so many series. I've got so many unfinished series that the last thing I needed was to start a new one. So we're going to get rid of that. This one is Good Old Serpent Thorn, and I'm pretty sure this is a first edition. I picked this up years ago in Toppings, and I've just never went and read it again. I'm pretty sure this is YA. I could be wrong. Please correct me in the comments, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's YA, and I won't read it. Next one is The Starlight Heir, and this is a Fairyloot edition. I think I got it in January. And yeah, when I initially got it, I was really excited, but then actually when I properly looked at it, I have no desire to read it at all, which is a shame because the cover is so unbelievably stunning. So yeah, if you would like this, keep an eye on my Vinted because it'll be up there. And then the final one that my audio cuts off for is Shadow and Bone. I actually decided to keep this one. Upon reading the back a wee bit further, I have kept Six of Crows, which I've not read, and it kind of looks like I should probably read Shadow and Bone series first, so there was no point in keeping one if I wasn't going to keep the other, so I've decided to keep Shadow and Bone, and I will let you get back to actual video, Lisa, and again, sorry about the audio. A Devil Makes Beat 3 by Tori Bovalino. I picked this up in a charity shop. I really fancied it at the time, and then yeah, I'm just not going to read it. I've had it for ages, so I'm going to unhaul that. The next duology I'm never going to read. I picked these up a while ago now, maybe a couple of years ago, and it's The Book of Dust by Philip Pullman, and I've got volume 1, volume 2, and they're in great condition. They were donated to a charity shop, and yeah, I mean, like, I do fancy it, but yeah, I'm just not sure. Just not sure. Again, a little bit like the whole thing of like, I've read so many series, I've got so many unfinished series that I feel like I'm not going to have the time in my life to read these. So many other things I would prefer to read, so we're going to unhaul those. The next few, so The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke. I picked this up a couple years ago, and I'm just not sure I fancy it anymore. I picked it up just before I lost my little boy, and I'm not drawn to it, so I'm going to unhaul this one.
I'm going to unhaul Caraval. I've actually got these on Kindle. I've got the full trilogy on Kindle, and I don't feel any special way about Caraval, so there's no point in me keeping it. So we're going to unhaul this. We're going to unhaul Bunny by Mona Awad. I tried to read this a few years back and I DNF'd it. I just didn't like it. I know that this is very well loved. I wish I loved it. It sounds right up my street, but I just don't. I don't gel with the writing style, so we're going to get rid of them. So the next bit, there's quite a lot of thriller because I don't really gravitate towards thriller anymore, and so part of that was I just wanted to unhaul the majority of them, keep the ones that I was really drawn to, and then just get rid of the rest. So the first one is The Missing Girl by Jenny Quintana. It's like a special Waterson's edition. I think it's actually still got my receipt in it. It does. So we'll take that out. It's nice special sprayed edition with yellow on the edges. We're going to get rid of this. The next one is The Shadow People by Graham Masterton. I do really fancy this, but it's like the third in a series, and I don't actually know why I picked it up because I've not read the rest of the series, so I feel like I'm just going to get rid of it, and if I do gravitate back to that series, I'll start at book 1, and if I want to, buy it again, I'll buy it again, but there's no point in me keeping it at the moment because I'm not going to read it. So the next unhaul is another Fairyloot. It's The Wren in the Holly Library. I just don't fancy it, if I'm perfectly honest. So we're unhauling this one. It is again a beautiful edition. When was this out? Last year in July. Again another beautiful edition, so we will pop that on Vinted. Hopefully someone will get lots of enjoyment from it. Next one is a first edition of The Devil Upstairs by Anthony O'Neill. I actually bought this in an independent bookshop. It is signed, as you can see. You can see here, it is independently stamped as well from one of the bookshops in Edinburgh. And yeah, it was fine. I read it. It was okay. It's based in Edinburgh. But again, I just don't really feel any way towards it. So we're unhauling it. Next one is The Gingerbread Men by Joanna Corrance. I read this last Christmas and I really enjoyed it. Only reason I'm unhauling it is because I'm not going to read it again, and I feel no desire to keep it. That is a horror based at Christmas time, and yeah, I'd highly recommend it if you've not read it. The next one is it Lizzie's Story by Stephen King. It's like an old copy. I actually was given this from my mum, or I stole this from my mum. I should probably see if she wants it back, but I doubt she does. And honestly, I just don't fancy it. As well as that, it's a different height to all my other Stephen Kings, and that kind of gets on my nerves. So yeah, that's why we're unhauling you. Okay, we're starting to struggle for space here, so I'm gonna have to move a few things, I think. The next few are Stop at Nothing by Tammy Cohen. Just a generic thriller. When I lost my little boy, I kind of went off like domestic thrillers. They're quite triggering for me, so this is one of them. I'm just going to get rid of that. Same with The Widow. I did read this a few years ago, and actually I really enjoyed it. I would highly recommend it if you've not done it. Fiona Barton's a great writer, and yeah, it was super interesting. It's the widow of a serial killer, so I would recommend that. Next one is a gorgeous hardcover of The Daughter and the Moon Goddess by Sue Lynn Tan, and again I picked this up in a charity shop and it sounded great at the time, but I'm just not gravitating towards it, so we're gonna unhaul that. Next is The Magpie Society, One for Sorrow by Zoe Sugg and Amy McCulloch. I had plans to read these, and honestly, again, they're YA, I'm sure, and I'm just not interested, if I'm honest. So we're going to get rid of that. Another one, this one might actually just go to a charity shop. It's very dated, and it's The Dead Sit Around in a Ring. Horror, but just don't fancy it. Next one is Once Upon a River by Diane Setterfield. Again, I bought this years ago as part of a readathon to fit a prompt, and then I didn't get around to it in the readathon, and I've never ever read it, and it's a little bit not what I would normally pick up, so I've not read it, so we're going to unhaul this. The next few are, one is Confessions of a Sociopath by M.E. Thomas. It's like part memoir, part like psychological thriller, I think. But I don't really like memoirs, so there we go, we're getting into that. The next one is The Skeleton Cupboard by Tanya Byron. Again, I just don't fancy it. It focuses on a child again, which I mentioned is not my daily thing anymore. The next one is Where the Crawdads Sang. I read this during COVID and I actually loved it. I think I gave it 5 stars at the time. I have recently watched the film and I really enjoyed the film, but again, I've just got no attachment to it, and I thought, what's the point in it like busying up my shelves when it could go to someone who would really love it. Next one is All That Remains, A Life and Death by Sue Black. And again, I'm pretty sure this is true, and you know, I deal with grief most days. The last thing I need is to be dealing with real life death, so that's why we're unhauling you. Next one is a bit of a niche one. It's the Modern Witchcraft Book of Tarot, and yeah, I went through a bit of a tarot phase. That's why I bought this, but honestly I've never picked it up and I doubt I'm gonna, so that's that. Oh, we're nearly there. Okay, the next few. Hostage by Claire McIntosh. Again, it's do you save hundreds of lives or save your children? Well, and I just don't fancy it, so that's that. How to Build a Girl by Caitlin Moran. Again, I've had this in my collection for years and I've never ever read it. As well as A Girl is a Half-Formed Thing. I just don't fancy it. A lot of these are like general fiction and that's just not really my vibe. So there's no point in keeping them. The next couple is American Dirt by Jeannie Cummins. I loved this. I thought it was phenomenal. If you've not read it, you should read it. But I'm never going to read it again. It was quite heartbreaking. I would much rather I went to someone who could fully appreciate it instead of it clogging up my shelves. The next one is My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. Again, I read this during COVID and it is dark, exceptionally dark. It's actually quite a hard read if you've not read it. It is very graphic in terms of like grooming, sexual assault, that sort of thing. And yeah, as much as it sticks with me, and it does, it probably always will, I have no desire to reread this because I think it might traumatise me. So yeah, that's that one. I'm slightly concerned that these towers are going to start collapsing, but we'll keep going as long as we can. The next few. So the first one is The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary. Honestly, I watched the series when I was in one of my first trimesters with my pregnancies and I really liked the series, but I feel like there's 0 point in reading the book because I know the twist. So that's been Unhaul. Again, The Last Act to Love by Kathy Rensenbrink. Again, it's fiction and it just wasn't really, it's not really my thing anymore. Girl A by Abigail Dean. I've had this for a while. My friend Lois just DNF'd this and I trust her. So we're unhauling it. The next few. So we've got Susan Hill, Women in Black. It's a lovely copy. I got it in a charity shop, as you can see, and I actually ended up listening to it on Audible. The Audible was fantastic and I don't think I'll reread it, so I'm going to get rid of this. And then I might sell these two together because they're beautiful additions. I've got The King in Yellow by Robert W. Chambers and I've got the cult classic Carmilla. And honestly, I didn't really enjoy either of these, so even though they are really nice additions, tiny little hardbacks, I have no desire to keep them or reread them, so I think we'll get rid of those. I have a couple more horror. We've got Come Closer by Sarah Gran, and yeah, I like this. It's a tiny little novella. It was really good, quite dark. I enjoyed it, but again, I'm never going to reread it, so we can get rid of you. Next one is Oscar Wilde's The Picture of Dorian Gray. I read this and honestly I hated it. I wasn't a fan. I thought he was a bit of a dick, so... Oh!
So that is that. And then the last two is we've got Five Survive by Holly Jackson, and again I just don't fancy it again. I did like A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, but I have so many other thrillers that I would much rather pick up. So we're just going to unhaul this because I think I bought it because I'd seen it on TikTok and that was that. And the final is The Maid by Nita Prose. I've heard good things about this, but nothing that is like wild. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to get rid of it because, yeah. As we have said multiple times, I just don't fancy it. The one other thing I'm going to get rid of is my old Kindle. So I have got one of the older Kindle Paperwhites that I'm going to pop on Vinted, I think. I'm currently in the process of trying to get the stickers off it on the back to make it look a little bit more presentable because they can't look like this. But yeah, there's actually nothing wrong with this Kindle. It just doesn't really keep its charge for as long as I want it to. So I would say you get about 7 days charge out of it. I'll be selling it for dead cheap if anyone wants it, if that doesn't bother anyone. Or if you've never had a Kindle before and you would like to try a Kindle, this might be a good option. So I'll pop that on as well. But yeah, that is it. I could probably do a little bit of a count for you. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 54 books. I am feeling incredibly proud of myself because I think this is the biggest unhaul I've ever done. I'm going to edit this video and hopefully get this up this week, and then I'm going to slowly get all this up. My mum is coming round today and I know she wants to have a little route through them, so I'll let her do that first before I go ahead and put any of them up. So if there is a few missing, it's because she has claimed them. But hopefully by the time this video goes live, everything will be live on my Vinted, which I'll link down below if you're interested. As always with my Vinted, I am open to offers, so if I've put something at something, please send me an offer, because I would say as long as it's reasonable, I'm just going to accept it because I need rid of those books. The whole point in unhauling is to get a wee bit extra space. That's that. I hope you have enjoyed. I've actually rejigged all my shelves, so if you would like a tour, you can let me know and I will maybe try and film that for you at some point to let you know how I organise everything and why it looks the way it looks and what I have in my collection. So yeah, you can... Oh my goodness, that was close. Let me fix you. Okay, so yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, please like, comment and please subscribe. It would be lovely to have you over in this corner of the internet. I'm well aware I've been a little bit sketchy with my posting, but there's been a lot going on in life and I've just not had the time. So yeah, please let me know what you think, and if there's any that you would like to snatch up from me, and yeah, let's chat in the comments and I will hopefully be back with a new video soon. Bye.